continues to bombard the southern suburbs of Beirut. Health officials report Israel carried out at least 17 strikes overnight, leveling numerous buildings, including the offices of Al Mayadeen, a Lebanese news station. Lebanon's national news agency described last night's attacks as the most violent in the area in recent weeks. Israel also killed 3 Lebanese soldiers in a strike in the southern part of the country. Israel continues to defy international calls for a ceasefire in Lebanon. This comes as French President Emmanuel Macron hosted an aid conference for Lebanon in Paris. Macron reiterated his call for a ceasefire and vowed to send over $100 million in humanitarian aid to Lebanon.
Say that the old ruins of Tyre have been hit by strikes. We have seen similar reports from other archaeological and historical sites, such as Baalbek before. These are ruins that have survived thousands of years and that are being now destroyed by Israel. Unfortunately, we're not seeing the same alarm that we saw when other ruins, whether in Syria or Iraq, were targeted. And I think this is a very important issue to flag and to talk about.
So, Rima, attacks on these ruins have not received the kind of attention they should. Has UNESCO, for example, at least made a comment?
Yeah, I think the whole war on Lebanon is not receiving the attention that it needs to receive. I mean, there is a full-blown war that is taking very little space in the global media for several reasons. One of them is, unfortunately, wars in this part of the world has become material for consumption, and there's maybe a media fatigue, but also there's an impunity that Israel has been enjoying since a long time, but that has become very flagrant since last year, where at this point what we cover is survival and bare life. It's there's so much to cover in terms of people, forced expulsions, people dying, that talking about ruins and history and archaeology is maybe seen not as a priority, but it's it's a devastating conflict, or it's a devastating war that is destroying all sorts of life and on this land, whether social life or even when we think about history.
People, including a child, were killed and about 60 others injured in an Israeli airstrike near the Rafik Hariri University Hospital, Lebanon's largest public medical center. At least 32 others were wounded in the attack, which caused major damage to the hospital. Separately, 50 medical workers and 15 patients were forced to evacuate from the Al Sahel hospital in southern Beirut Monday after Israel's military claimed without evidence it's home to a secret underground Hezbollah bunker containing hundreds of millions of dollars in cash and gold. Doctors insisted there's nothing hidden beneath the hospital and took reporters on a tour of its lower floors to disprove the claims. This is Alex Rossi, international correspondent for Sky News.
This is the Al Sahel hospital on the outskirts of Dahir. Dahir, of course, is a stronghold of Hezbollah. Now, we're in the basement. This is, it's alleged by the Israelis that this hospital is being used by Hezbollah as a way of storing gold and cash. Now, we've been invited in here. This tour has been in no way exhaustive. You can see there are lots of other press here as well. But we haven't been controlled in terms of what we can film or where we can point our camera. We've been allowed to open doors, move around. Now, there may be other areas of the hospital that we've not been taken to, but for all, this looks like a hospital.
That's Alex Rossi, again, international correspondent for Sky News. If you could respond, Rima Majed, to what happened there, and also talk about the U.S. State Department once again shoring up Israel and what it's doing. The spokesperson, Matt Miller, saying we've seen footage that's emerged over the course of the past 2 weeks of rockets and other military weapons held in civilian homes. So Israel does have a right to go after those legitimate targets.
Yes, I mean, the targeting of the Hariri hospital was also very personal to me, because this is exactly where I grew up, actually. This is the neighborhood where I lived for several years, and it targeted civilians mainly. All the other attacks are also targeting civilians, and this logic of, whether the German foreign minister's logic of Israel having the right to target civilians, and now there's a new logic of the right to target gold and money as a terrorist threat, is completely absurd. We've never seen. Would this apply to Israel? Does Lebanon have the right to defend itself the way, using the same techniques and tactics that Israel uses? Of course not. This goes against every logic of protection of human rights, but also, just protection of, the protection of civilians is basic here.
Exactly. What she said, was correct. Right? So they're able to make absurd claims and wipe out all the hospitals, all the schools, all the churches, right? All the banks. Now they're bombing banks, churches, hospitals, schools, and they just say, well, there's a terrorist operation in the hospital. There's a terror operation in the school. There's a and see, the thing is, it's absurd and everybody knows it. Like, all the Americans know this. The American politicians, the UK politicians, everybody that's giving them the weapons, right, from the United States, all the people that's voting to support, based on both sides, this kind of thing. But these are the same, they're bombing these historic Christian sites. These are the same people who claim to be Christian. Right? The same hypocrites in America and liars that claim to be Christian. You don't see T.D. Jakes or Creflo Dollar or any of these, where's Joel Osteen? Where's all these huge churches, so-called Christians? Why aren't they in the streets? Oh, they too busy hiding hundreds of thousands of dollars inside their wall that they stole from the, tithers and the donations. Like in Lakewood Church, at Joel Osteen's church, they found $100,000 in his wall. And he said, wow, we don't know how that got there. Right? They're too busy stealing and embezzling money and going on vacation and flying in private jets. But because they're the synagogue of Satan, and they work for the chief synagogue of Satan, which is the Israelis. Because if not, all these church leaders will be out in the street protesting with their churches, right? So-called powerful church leaders. Shows they're not that powerful. Only thing they're powerful at is stealing money from people and swindling people and raping children. That's about it, right? And so it's absurd to believe that, these statements coming out of the synagogue of Satan, that anybody that disagree with us, we just put out a report that, they're hiding millions of dollars of gold, of terrorist gold, in the basement of a hospital. And then they go in and wipe out the hospitals and the churches. They're hiding terrorists in the church. But see, I'm going to say this in a wrap. I just want to say this. And they get immunity, right? And they do this with impunity and immunity, right? Now you understand why in the Bible, in the different prophecies of the destruction of places like America and Europe, right? You say, why would God let this happen? Why would the Lord of hosts wipe out America and wipe out UK and Europe and different places? I don't know. Why would y'all let them wipe out all of the churches in the homeland of so-called Jesus Christ? Why y'all doing that? Why y'all letting them wipe out all hospitals, all schools, all churches, and starve people to death? Right? What they say is good for the goose, good for the gander, right? People say, oh, this is a terrible prophecy, right? That's, prophesied to happen in the book of Joel and in the book of Revelations, in the book of Daniel and Ezekiel, Isaiah, right? Where he said, their bodies will line the streets of the great cities, right? And I would destroy, it talks about the destruction of Babylon, these places like America. And you say, well, why would that be allowed to happen? I don't know. Why are you allowing it to happen to these people? In the homeland of your so-called Jesus Christ, right? And these Christians, so-called foundational Christian centers. Where are all of the holy rollers at? Where are all of the black Christians, the Baptist church, the deacons, and all these people at? Hey, hello, they're bombing your foundational centers. You don't want to say anything? You don't want to do anything? Except put on an Israeli flag pin? Tells you everything you need to know about these people. Right? Tells you everything you need to know about them. Right? Like the Bible said, by your fruit you shall know them. So you just watch these people. Don't listen to, just like women or anybody else, don't listen to what people say. Just watch what they do. Don't listen to what they say. Like even my children, my family, everybody. I don't even listen to what people say no more. I just watch what they do. But now, I'm going to say this in rap. Now you know why you're going to be judged as a nation. Why the Bible said, you shall be judged. I'm not even going to pull it up. I didn't pull it up enough. You can pull it up for yourself if you care. The Bible said, you shall be judged as a nation. Because of what you did to these people. What you're doing to them. It's not like you said, well, I got to wait and read a prophecy and something going to happen in the future. This is happening right now. Because of what you allowed to happen to the real Semites at the hand of the synagogue of Satan, as written in Revelations 2 and 9, is why you're going to be, why this place is going to be judged and people will be punished. You know, and some people like collateral damage. People like me, I may end up collateral damage at the hand of the Lord of hosts and at the hand of karma, right? Of course I'm not with these people, but hey, you're going to be judged as a nation. So if you live in a certain nation, right, you may get caught up in this. But the question, the thing is to be aware so you can try not to be caught up in the judgment. Because they're going to be judged. Of course it's absurd. She said it's absurd, the reasoning they're giving and what they're doing. And there's plenty of cameras everywhere that see that there's no terrorists. There's nobody here with rockets in this hospital. There's no hidden gold. There's no rockets. There's no, terrorists running around with an AK-47 in the prenatal unit. But America and France and all these other places, they let them do it anyway. In the UK. So, what does that tell you about places like America that destroy churches but claim to be Christian? Are they really Christian? No, they're not. They are what's written of and prophesied of in Revelations 2 and 9. They are the synagogue of Satan. People that say that they're Christian or Jews, but they are not. But they do lie. You see? And all of them ain't white supremacists, Nazis. You see? They are different kinds. Right? Anyway, that's all I got.